I've always been very, very cynical about the school uniform thing. There's some argument for it, but it's a bit like Brexit, isn't it? You know, how both sides of the argument. I don't mean one or the other. I mean both sides. All the arguments were excuses. There was no good argument on either side, really. And people, I'm sure, everyone's zealous about that. I know, but we're not. And you know, if it was sensible clothes, that would be a better argument. It's not. No. Oh, yes, it is. No, it isn't. A blazer is not. It's too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter. How is that sensible? What does a tie actually do? It strangles you. That's literally all it does. It should be, if it's compulsory clothes, it should be really sensible trainers, comfortable, that are suitable for all weather. You know, a coat instead of a bloody blazer. You know, it's all about tradition, and it's all about, you know, it's an excuse.
Well, I think it's a bit more than that. I think it's actually about conformity. And
learning about conformity,
yeah, it's conforming to the norms of society, because these are ridiculous clothes that we wear. Yeah, that is the norm that is expected for people to wear on a smart occasion.
And 50 years ago,
it was highlighted sort of between David Cameron and Jeremy Corbyn, when David Cameron essentially made the point that Jeremy Corbyn was a ridiculous figure because David Cameron's mother wouldn't have approved of the fact that he didn't wear a tie.
Yes, yeah.
You know,
that's yeah.
And that would have had cut through in wider society. I mean, forget all the issues, all the problems, society problems.
Facts about what's
happening. Jeremy Corbyn's wearing a tie, therefore you should not vote for him.
Cameron didn't wear a tie sometimes, didn't he?
Oh, he always.
When he wanted to look like he was down with the kids, he would take his tie off.
Depends what his mum said, obviously, you know.
It must be. Yeah.
Well, could you imagine if David Cameron couldn't find his shoes in the morning, what his mother would have said?
I mean, what that revealed was that his mother disagreed with him about most things. Or something. It was terrible. Do you miss David Cameron?
Not at all. The worst Prime Minister. Worse than Theresa May. I mean, Theresa May is absolutely useless. I mean, I think Brexit, there was reasonable arguments for Brexit.
Yeah, but
I think the way we've gone about it is unreasonable, and Theresa May has made it. It's potentially a catastrophe. We're looking at a catastrophe.
It could be.
It's a potential cliff edge.
Not because Brexit is a catastrophe, because we could make it a catastrophe because we don't know what we're doing.
Well, the way we've done it with this referendum, I mean, we were ideally placed to get ourselves out of Europe. Yeah, I mean, Europe has structural issues, has democratic issues, and all that, and we were sort of an outlier, and we had the veto essentially over the EU, and all we had to do was keep using it. Yeah, you frustrate what's trying to happen, and then at some point they'll come to you and say, okay, what is it you want? And you say, well, we want to be part of the single market, but we don't want free migration. And if you want a fully integrated EU, you're going to have to figure a way around it.
Yes. Yeah.
But with the referendum and the sort of everything, we can't do that now. We've got to sort of rip ourselves out.
Yes.
With all the issues up.
I mean, I do think Theresa May is the fall guy. I'm not convinced there's anything she could have done. Well, maybe she could have, but she's surrounded by fools. I mean, David Davis is like the safe pair of hands. He's the sensible one. And it turns out...
He's been sidelined now, hasn't he?
Yeah, it turns out he's completely useless. Everything he said about the EU was just a lie. He has no clue what to do.
It'll be the easiest thing ever.
He never really thought... He didn't really want to leave, just like bloody Boris. And Boris, what about Boris? Liam Fox. I mean, these idiots she's surrounded with. And people are, Theresa May is terrible. Oh, partially because she's a woman. But
I mean, she surrounded herself with these idiots, though. I mean, she brought these Brexiteers into the cabinet.
Well, what else are you going to do? She was a Remainer. You've got, you know, it's all about saving their particular party. That's how they operate, isn't it? And that's what, and the press as well, and that's why we've got to blame Theresa May, because then she can go and she can take the blame, and then the party's okay. It's not her really. She's just ill-equipped to deal with a ridiculous situation.
I mean, I personally, after the vote, what I would do, I would certainly wouldn't have started Article 50. When is it? Article 50 or 50?
Yeah.
Yeah. I certainly wouldn't have, and I would have put it out to the People's Forum, basically, in all areas.
The problem is,
I would have said, okay, we've made the decision. We haven't decided how this is actually going to happen. I mean, we've had Brexit equals Brexit, which is essentially a tautology that adds nothing to the debate.
Literally.
And we've had months of this now. Brexit means Brexit. Well, Brexit doesn't mean Brexit because one guy voted for Brexit for one reason, another guy voted Brexit for another reason, and all you're saying is, yeah, you can have your cake and eat it.
But, I mean, in her world, in PR, Tory PR land, you're not allowed to discuss it. The day after the referendum, there was this force of stop talking about it. No, we voted Brexit now, and it's absolutely conclusive, and everyone voted for it. So stop talking about it. No, we just have to have Brexit now. Just go. Trigger Article 50 now. Don't think about it. Don't make a plan. Just do it. Come on.
We've got to leave now. The vote was decisive.
Which one? It wasn't. To what the hell's a Brexit? Oh, it means Brexit. I will have
Brexit
a red, white,
Brexit.
and blue Brexit.
Black, brown, beige Brexit. Some people might get that. Yeah, so it's all crap really. I noticed there was I think the deficit is back to pre-crisis levels.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2007.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which was how, and
I thought it was ridiculously terrible already, wasn't it?
well, George Osborne was congratulating himself. See, austerity worked, and David Cameron retweeted it, sort of thing. I don't remember in 2007 people dying in corridors and in hospitals.
Life's gone back.
I know.
Oh God, he only made it worse. Only made it worse.
Yeah.
How long has it been since we really had someone competent, actually competent, who actually knew what they were doing? How long? I mean, maybe you could go back to the Blair era, but it was an evil competence.
I don't know.
Yeah, crap. So
Tony Blair was competent at managing
the PR.
public opinion and PR. I mean, that Labour government achieved. I mean, Labour stalwarts, which I consider myself one, but I don't agree on certain issues. They're always bigging up the achievements of the Blair era, and there are genuine achievements. Like so, homelessness is an issue at the moment in the media. Homelessness has tripled under the Conservatives, and it was actually falling under Labour.
How did they manage that?
Well,
I mean,
they pulled funding from social care, public services, from councils, because it's councils that pick up all the crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they when you pull their budgets by 40%,
yeah,
it's going to have real effects in communities, sort of thing.
Yeah. Did this happen in Finland? No.
No.
Did this happen in Sweden? No. Did it happen in any of countries that are run well, not governed by bloody newspapers and idiots? No.
Mm-hmm. The debt, our public debt, is now close to 2 trillion.
Right.
Which is 90% of GDP.
90%.
Yeah, which is quite a lot.
It's quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah, 2 trillion.
But we're not paying any more than we were pre-recession.
Yes.
Because interest rates are so low.
Yeah, yeah, and that's all that matters, really. I mean, it's not like, it's not being in debt in the traditional sense, is it?
So in that sense, but should we have another calamity? It's game out, and Brexit presents that potential calamity.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
If it has a massive effect on GDP,
it doesn't have to be though. It doesn't have to be. You could have Brexit, a sensible.
Well, this
change in boring bureaucracy.
This is my point.
Would work in our favour.
If you have a people's forum, yeah, so you select, I don't know, let's say 100 people at random, like they do for juries. It's just done by lot, yeah. You get them in a room, you present them with the facts and the options, and they discuss it between themselves, and then they decide what's going to happen. Yeah, what is the sensible route? If you did that all over the country, you would get a sort of a sense of a consensus about what is the right way forward for Brexit, rather than relying on Conservative ministers who are either ideologues,
yes, or slaves to the PR.
I mean, there's a religious fervour about some of these.
Yeah,
and
about a boring change in bureaucracy. That's what it is.
Let's have a pragmatic approach, and let's do it properly. But there we go. What was you going to say about the third year?
Oh, yeah, that wasn't that interesting actually. It was just I took my daughter, who is in year 9 now, to a parents' evening, and traditionally, the kids always do well at parents' evening, so it's always a sort of a smug thing, and we take them out for a meal afterwards. But she's doing really well in music. The music teacher was the most enthusiastic of all her teachers. The maths teacher was like, yeah, she's good at maths, because we know that. But you know, she's in year 9 and she's already got a 6. That's like a C, I think, or a B. B stroke C.
What as a final result in the GCSEs?
Well, she's already done some. But in 2 years' time, when she does a GCSE, then therefore she's going to get whatever high grade.
So the minimum she can get at the moment is a C or a B.
Yeah.
It's not bad for year 9.
It all works differently now, you know. Whereas when we did it, you just didn't do anything until you got to your exams at the end, and if you were in the right mood at the right time. But yeah, and the weird, that might not be surprising. We're a music channel, and you know, we didn't know, and she didn't know, and she doesn't really play an instrument. Well, it turns out she does a bit, but I didn't know.
What does she play?
She can do it piano. She's learned a bit of theory and stuff, and she's written some music at school, which we didn't know about and stuff. I mean, it's only GCSE, I mean, yeah, but so that's strange. I thought you'd have to already be grade something, and you know, to do GCSE music, surely. But apparently,
yeah.
She did ask me to. She wanted to learn the guitar a while ago, but the problem is all the guitars in my house are all left-handed, and she's right-handed, so we'll have to get another one. Notice I didn't say we'll have to restring one of the guitars. No, get another one.
What would it have to be, an acoustic, or would it be electric?
Well, it could be acoustic. It doesn't have to be electric. Electric's just too much trouble.
I suppose you need a slightly smaller one, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Small hands.
Yes. Like the little one, the crappy one I was playing on. We'll get one of them
Yeah.
first, and then as she develops.
Yeah. Okay then. Shall we review some music?
That's a good idea.